For early access to new episodes and other exclusive content, go to patreon.com/MiharuTheFox. Hey guys, it's Miharu and welcome back to SpyroCast. This is episode 47, and today I have another new guest. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Daniel, or my online name would be DanBedBy11. I am a artist on welfare who really likes 3D platformers and just video games in general. And we're here to talk about Spyro the Dragon.
Hell yeah. So, what is your history with our little purple dragon?
Okay, so I'd say about when I was 3, for financial reasons, we had to move in with my aunt and my cousins. And they had a PlayStation 1. I had no comprehension of how video games could be played. And to my memory, I don't know if it was the racing game Roll Cage or if it was Spyro 2, Gateway to Glimmer as it was in Ireland and the rest of the world seemingly, except the West.
Yeah.
I remember feeling like, oh, it's like a cartoon, but I can move it. And so I would just move the main character around, left, right, forward, backward, and I was just blown away by that. And I was like, this is a thing, oh my god. And I've just been hooked on that medium ever since, really.
Awesome. So you started with Spyro 2?
Yes, 99%. I mean, this was like 2002, 2003, but yes.
Okay, and have you played any of the other games after that?
So I was on and off with the others. I did rent Hero's Tale from a place called Chartbusters, which was like this video rental chain back in the day. And I was a very easily confused kid. I would have like trouble navigating in like Pokemon and all that. So I played a little bit of it, but then I just kept getting stuck and then I'd get frustrated. And I was just more, I needed more guiding level to level based systems of where to go, really. So because of that, unfortunately, I didn't give Spyro the Dragon much chance, really. So when I'd be walking through GameStop for like years and seeing The Legend of Spyro with Elijah Wood and all that, and the 2 other sequels that followed that, I just assumed it was the same thing of, oh, I'm just gonna get stuck in that. So I didn't, despite it being my awakening or whatever, I didn't give it a fair chance. And I regret that, because this was around the same time that all my friends were getting into Modern Warfare, and I'm like, oh, do we have to do this? Can we? What happened to colorful video games? But it was right there. It was right there, and I didn't give it a chance. I do regret that.
I see. So other than Spyro 2, you don't have much experience with the others?
Other than that and the Reignited trilogy, but also in the last few weeks, kind of preparing for that, I thought, okay, maybe I'll just give Hero's Tale another shot just to see. On top of that, I've also been replaying Hero's Tale on PC. Originally, I played it on Switch, but mainly with a Hero's Tale, I got more hooked on that than the Reignited trilogy, which I wasn't expecting. I don't know what it is, but I have it set up on a CRT.
Okay.
But yeah, I've enjoyed Hero's Tale a lot more. Even though, in my opinion, Spyro looks and sounds like Leisure Suit Larry, which I'm okay with. Okay.
Interesting comparison.
And the other, I'm just gonna fangirl about Hero's Tale for a little bit compared to the Reignited trilogy again, but of course, out of nowhere, my favorite character is Ember, because that's my favorite trope of all time, is the boy crazy stalker kind of child-friendly yandere appropriate. Like, you know, as a kid, like I was crazy for Amy as a kid and that whole thing, and so seeing that kind of trope again was just really fun. And I was like, yeah, I missed that. I don't see that anymore.
Okay. That's you know what? I respect that. We don't get a lot of Ember fans, so
they have very little to work with.
I know, yeah. I mean, it's true. She doesn't really do anything or contribute anything, but I do like her, and I also appreciate those types of characters, because you're right, we don't get that anymore.
Just yanderes, that's it. But that's a whole other ballpark that people have to look into. Or My Super Ex-Girlfriend with Luke Wilson, but I'm out of examples now.
All right, so what would you say your favorite and least favorite games are?
I am biased for the second PlayStation game and the third PlayStation game, and recently Hero's Tale, but I forgot to mention, but last year when I was going on my absolute emulator phase, I tried to see if I could patch Enter the Dragonfly on our RPCX2 or whatever it's called.
Mm.
And I did patch it successfully, and it was like, oh, now it's fixed, hooray. And then I played the opening section, and I couldn't pass it. I couldn't catch up with Hunter, and I'm like, if I can't do this now, how would I have been able to do this as a kid? Oh my god. I mean, I would have had the time to keep trying and failing and trying and failing, but like, you know, you rented it, you spent €3 for the weekend. I got all the time in the world, but not now. Well, patience, really. I do actually have all the time in the world. Lucky me.
Okay, so least favorite is Enter the Dragonfly. I guess that makes sense. It's a least favorite of many.
But still, mad respect to the people who did give it a chance, didn't really know what a bad video game was, and just kept on with it and learned to like it. Because it's like, well, that's what you got for a while.
True. Very true. All right, and now we move on to the Spyro 4 section. What are your general thoughts about the idea of Spyro 4?
I want to be wrong, and I'm going to be kind of Dan the Downer, but after Perfect Dark got cancelled, I was really kind of thinking, I don't know if that's coming now. Because there were so many projects cancelled by Microsoft and so many people laid off that I was thinking, are they really going to continue focusing on a 3D platformer? Even if there is an audience for it, do they look at that as a big enough? And I want to be wrong.
Mm.
And I do hear people say, oh no, it's still in development and all that, but just after all those cancellations with like John Romero and the others, it's worrying. But I'm gonna assume Crash 4 and I know the Reignited trilogy and all that, they were successes, and I'm gonna assume it's more of a success than the Perfect Dark franchise. Sorry to those fans, but I want to be wrong.
Okay. Who was Perfect Dark being worked on by?
Oh boy, I did not back that up. It wasn't Rareware, but it was another company, and they released a trailer with gameplay and everything, and they showed the main character, and then it looked pretty much finished, and it seemed to be released in the next year, and then real life happened. Still, I mean, Toys for Bob are independent now, kinda.
Yeah. Since I don't really know much about what happened with Perfect Dark, so I can't really compare it to that, but
Well, you did hear about all the cancellations like last month, right?
I think I may have heard about some of them.
Okay, but it's best not to look into it. It is kind of just a doom and gloom news cycle, really. And so I might just be a downer for no reason at all, and it's still coming.
Well, assuming we do get it, what are some of the most important things you think a new game should have?
The quick comparison I always go to is Mario Odyssey, but with Breath of the Wild Tears of the Kingdom physics.
Okay.
No ironic humor at all. Maybe some like jokes about past games and stuff, but it just completely commits to the bit and takes not like take everything seriously as like grim 2005 edge stuff, but like completely sincere at the risk of being dorky. Just go with it. Just make jokes in that world with those characters. No irony.
Okay, I see.
Just sure, visual gags as well, but no, just like Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. I mean, I don't know how strenuous development that would be if they tried to replicate everything that was going on in that game. But, you know, still to go beyond what Reignited Trilogy does. And I don't know if I want a Switch version to be developed at the same time. I know that would benefit a lot of people, but it would hold it back if they had to just stick to Switch 2 and PC and next gen, but that is leaving a lot of people behind, so that's a difficult choice they would have to make.
Yeah. All right, let me ask it this way. What are some of the most important aspects you think that they should take from the original trilogy, but also that they could maybe take from the other games, or like you said, Mario Odyssey or Breath of the Wild? What really do you want to see in the game? Like, I'm assuming like Breath of the Wild means like kind of RPG elements?
Well, sorry, I should have been more clear about that. What I mean is the physics, the interactions with objects, and I guess you could compare it to Crysis or Half-Life.
All right.
Just more interactivity with the world and various things. That's what I mean by like Breath of the Wild, kind of. Although I would love a 3D platformer with RPG elements. I can't say I've come across that, except maybe SpongeBob the movie game. That's the closest I can think of as like progression in that regard.
Okay. Would you prefer it if they had more of a focus on exploration like the first Spyro game, or do you want it to include all of those staples that we know from 2 and 3, like the mini games and extra playable characters and whatnot?
I would definitely say include the mini games, even if some people wouldn't necessarily like that. Simply in terms of attention span, I think that would. I think a lot of people would like that.
All right.
But one accessibility feature I really like from Mario Odyssey is the kind of pointer in terms of where to go. So that, you know, when like kids like me kind of had trouble with navigation, that would be there as an option, just like it was in Mario Odyssey. So like when I first came across that, I was like, that would have really helped me as a kid.
So kind of like how Sparks is used as a gem finder, but also just to point you in the right direction.
Yes. And I am one of the 5 people who would want David Spade to come back and just guide you around.
Oh, well, that would be a very different Sparks then.
Yeah, I don't even think he remembers doing that.
Probably not. People said Elijah Wood doesn't remember either. I'm not sure if that's true or not.
I would put more faith in Elijah Wood remembering that over David Spade.
That's fair.
That actually, speaking of that, I as much as everyone else, I love Tom Kenny. I truly do. I know he's known the world over as Wayne Cramp from the Cramp Twins and nothing else, but I don't want him coming back as the voice of Spyro, even though he's fine at it. But I kind of like the first voice more of the Taco Bell Chihuahua guy. I prefer that voice. I think it's more unique. Whereas when I hear Tom Kenny in the second and third game, and especially the Reignited trilogy, I only hear Tom Kenny doing a default pepped up, let's go get him kind of voice. As talented and celebrated as he is, I would rather either the original actor from the first game comes back, whoever the actor is for A
Carlos
Hero's Tale.
Alazraki.
Yes.
And Jess Harnell.
Oh, he did that. I know that name. Yeah. But I would prefer that. But I'm not going to complain if it is Tom. But I would prefer somebody else. And I know that's kind of an unpopular opinion. I know most like Kenny in the role.
I do personally, but I much prefer his performance in the original 2 and 3 over Reignited.
Even though that was done in like a day, yes. Weirdly enough.
Yeah, well, I mean, sure, but things were different back then, and of course, like you said at that one panel, it's like you're micromanaging everything and you want to make things better if you get the second chance to do it. But I don't know, sometimes things are just better when you leave them as they are, and they're kind of subtle like that.
It was better in the first 3 games. I noticed when I was looking into it in the last month. The writing is, and I'm pretty sure you said this during your voice actor analysis, but it was with the simplistic kind of animation with the characters kind of standing there with some movement. The snappy dialogue works much better than the high quality animation with like the 12 principles and just very detailed movement. With the snappy dialogue coming out of that, I don't really think it matches well like it does with the original games. It's got a very kind of old school South Park kind of quick cutting characters just standing there, which makes the dialogue sound way better to me.
Right. See, yeah, that's the thing. With limited animation, the voice acting is key, and so that's why a lot of the line deliveries they sounded better to me. But that's not to say that Reignited got it wrong, though.
Oh, no, not at all. I'm glad it had that.
Yeah. However, sometimes it feels like, I mentioned this before too, but sometimes when you have that snappy animation, in that case, since you have it, you need to make sure the dialogue fits. But sometimes it honestly doesn't. Like, I guess what I'm trying to say is Reignited seems like they prioritized animation over voice acting.
I mean, I guess the animators were kind of thinking, when are we going to get it? Like, after being kind of in the Skylanders trap for so long, trap team, like, they really did want to spread their wings and fly with that.
Right. But I think there should be a balance.
I mean, maybe it was an oversight, but I guess we'll just see with the next one. What kind of make dialogue that matches that kind of quality of movement, I'd say.
Yeah.
Maybe more long-form jokes, more... I'll take slapstick, I'm that kind of person. But.
Right, but it's not always like, you know, I'm not always talking about like comedy or whatever, like the type of, you know, dialogue or what's going on. It's like more say things to match the emotion of the situation. And in that case, I have to bring up the music again. The music in Reignited, specifically the cutscene music, it just does not fit. It doesn't fit the tone of any of the scenes, and I just don't like it.
I wish I could say I paid enough attention to notice it, but that might mean I don't like it either if I didn't notice it either.
I think that was always part of the problem for me, is the cutscene music in Reignited has this generic cartoony vibe to it that, you know, it sounds like this plinky plunky music that just doesn't match the tone. And it's especially noticeable in Spyro 3, where, you know, it's kind of a somewhat serious story, and when you have music like that, it's just really off-putting, I guess.
They committed to the bit for positive and negative. They didn't want to stray away from the original too much, but they held themselves back a little bit with that. But
yeah,
maybe in the next one, Mick Gordon can do the music. That would be. I think he's talented enough to make a whimsical, high intensity platform music.
Who's that?
Mick Gordon did the recent Doom video games.
Oh.
Yeah, I think he's versatile enough to be able to tackle that, but I should really know more composers for video games, but he's just the number one thing that pops up into me. And I'm just thinking, yeah, sure, it's a different type of thing, but he's good enough.
I mean, really? I guess I'm confused because I don't play Doom. Mark does. But when I think Doom, I think like kind of like heavy metalish music?
Yes.
Why would Spyro have that?
Well, it would only be needed for like one section possibly, but what he does with instrumentals, I think he could do, even in a whimsical nature. I think he would like to do that. It would challenge him, but I'm sure there's someone else who can do a better job. But it would be an interesting choice that I know he would succeed in. I
honestly don't see that fitting, because I don't really know if Doom has much of a varied soundtrack, at least not from what I've heard.
Oh, no, definitely not. But I think he would be varied.
Okay, if you say so. I've never heard anyone say that before. That's an incredibly hot take.
It's mainly because I need to know more about other composers. I don't need Stuart Copeland to come back. He's busy doing reunion shows. He doesn't need to do it.
That's fair.
Do you know of another composer that would do that would probably do really good with the next one?
Well, a long time ago, when we thought that the next game was being made by Beanox, we suggested, I believe his name was Nick Tremblay, and he did the music for Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty familiar with that.
And when we heard that wonderful rendition of Mushroom Speedway for the Spyro Circuit track, you know, it made all of us think like, wow, he could do it. You know, this sounds better than the actual Mushroom Speedway track that was in Reignited. So, you know, we really thought that he would be able to pull off the score of the next game. Of course, since it doesn't seem to be being made by Beanox, so we don't think that that'll happen.
Yeah, I miss them. I would say that Activision will want to diversify their portfolio like they did 15 years ago. And I'm just going to keep engaging in that wishful thinking, despite my fears for the fourth game.
Right. Besides the game not happening at all, what are your major fears?
I mean, that was kind of the major fear. I can't really think of a situation where they would put microtransactions in a 3D platformer. I just don't. Or, oh my god, an online service game for 3D platformers, which A Hat in Time does have online multiplayer for that, but
I love A Hat in Time.
I need to get back into it, but like the idea of an MMO, maybe not an RPG, but an MMO where it's all just platforming and content drops of levels and custom levels, and in whatever franchise that might be. I guess Fortnite has platforming. I haven't played that. I just see it in the section of like that category, and I'm like, how would that even work? But then again, like that dragon game, that independent dragon game that you voice acted in.
Glide.
Yes. How many of those are now coming out now? With people who grew up with that genre, like us. Zillennials, millennials, whatever we are.
Well, indie dragon games, I'm not sure, other than Glide, I'm not sure if they're...
Well, just 3D platformers in general.
Oh, there are tons. I couldn't possibly name them all, but so many people are working on developing 3D platformers at the moment, inspired by Spyro or Banjo or Crash or all that.
So, I mean, will that help? I mean, actually, they might take one look at the new Donkey Kong game, and they'll want their own version of that, maybe. So, with that, Spyro 4 will continue and happen, and maybe even Crash Bandicoot 5.
Yeah. That was a thing that disappointed many when we heard about that. It was the crossover game that everyone wanted, I suppose.
I remember, actually, go back, but like I remember reading in British comics in the early 2000s, seeing print ads for Crash Purple and Spyro Orange. I remember seeing that.
Oh.
But because I had limited money, I was kind of like, I can't really get that. Also, I'll probably get stuck.
Oh, I had a time with those. Yeah.
I'm sure you kind of like made yourself like it when you had the time to do so. Like when you played it on the Game Boy Advance, right? Like.
No, I never played it on the Game Boy Advance. I never played those games when they came out.
Oh, but you did later.
I played them on an emulator years later, and I hated them.
Oh boy. Yeah, no, then that would make it 1,000 times worse. So sorry for just assuming you picked up every title.
No. And even if I did, it doesn't mean I'd force myself to like it if I didn't. Even games that I was okay with back then when I was a kid, if I play it now, I probably don't like it so much. A Hero's Tale is one of those, actually.
I mean, I guess I gotta eat my own words, actually, because I did pick up Sonic and the Secret Rings, and that was like the first experience of disappointment I think I ever had. And I was like 10, and I was like, I don't want to play this anymore. And I sold it for a fraction of what I paid.
Yeah, I have experiences like that often. So, what's your stance on returning characters in the next game? Which characters would you like to see come back?
It doesn't have to be all of them. I would rather they only pick a few for them to be consistently in the game, rather than a guest spot, studio applause. They're there for like 2 minutes and then they go away and don't come back. So if they had to say they have 3 characters come back as opposed to 9, and the 3 characters get as much time in total as those 9 would, so that it just doesn't feel like a little wink and then nothing.
Right.
Not Flame, that's for sure.
Not Flame? Why not?
Well, just the idea of him annoyed me.
What if he was completely redesigned?
Okay, then yes. I'm shallow like that. Yes, I would give him another chance, totally. Sergeant Bird, definitely. And you know what? Even though no one's asking for it, Ember.
Okay, that's fair.
And I don't want her character growing up. I want it to be like she's still like chasing after him, and he's like, leave me alone.
Okay, so you do want that. I was gonna say, if only Cinder or Ember could return, which one?
I know everyone wants Cinder, but I don't have experience with that character, so it's easy for me to say Ember, but I know 9 times out of 10 they're going to pick Cinder, even if that's not necessarily what I would wish for. But maybe I will actually give the Legend games a chance, and then I'll change my answer.
That's fair. If the critters came back, Sheila, Sergeant Bird, Bentley, and Agent 9, would you want them to be playable again?
Yes. I guess, maybe not popular, but a DLC focus later, so that they could take a look at what they've done and then realize, well, how can these characters work later? Because I feel like that could be more of an afterthought, or more focus for later rather than the main game.
Okay.
Because, I mean, those characters were originally designed because Insomniac were running out of ideas. Or they just wanted to they were just sick of the default moveset. But
right. And if any characters were to be added to the playable roster, which ones should those be?
Definitely Sergeant Bird and Ember. And Alora, actually. I don't need Sheila to come back. I live in Australia despite being Irish, but even then, I don't need Sheila to come back. Although, actually, there is a character I do want coming back. Moneybags is the ruler emperor of the world by default. And the thing is, he's not necessarily a villain, so it would just be more like I can't stay mad at you, but I gotta stop you.
Okay.
Although when I saw Sheila in the cage and Moneybags was guarding her, I was like, oh, this is a new low for you. This just feels really evil rather than mischievous.
I mean, hey, he's just doing his job.
It's his compulsion, but yeah, that's who I want to be the villain. And it's like, and then Spyro at the end is just like, you're not the one to blame. It's just a situation that caused this.
All right. Great. So, okay. So, Cinder or Ember?
Ember. Unpopular as that is.
Playable Elora or Bianca?
Playable Elora.
Hmm.
I'm not crazy about Bianca. She's fine, but I don't know. I prefer Elora just in every way.
Moneybags or a brand new villain?
Moneybags.
Okay. All right. We've got some interesting answers there. So here's a question to end it off with. If you were to create your own homeworld or level for a Spyro game, what would it be?
Gosh, I mean, they did Nepal better than Far Cry 4 did, but they've done pretty much every environment. But I don't want to see sci-fi. I don't want them to do that, even though they could probably pull it off.
All right.
I guess just an environment where everything interacts with each other, like you hit one block, the other block hits the other block, and then a bunch of objects collide with each other, and it just goes on and on and on and on. I forget what that's called in film. Is it like not a Rube Goldberg something or other?
Like a domino?
Yeah, like a domino effect. Just kind of just a big, like something that would just crash your console completely if you just had everything interact with everything. So it could be in like a medieval kind of sense, or wherever. It could work anywhere. It would work like the final stage in the game where you get all that treasure and you're able to do whatever you want. You're super powered up as a reward for everything. Just kind of a playground of all interactive environments and dynamic effects. Again, that's why I wouldn't want it on Switch 1, as it wouldn't be able to handle that. Well, I assume. So yeah, just more of a gameplay style than an actual level aesthetic, because as far as I've seen, they seem to have done everything.
All right. But okay, how about if you could reuse a certain aesthetic? What are your favorite types?
I mean, I am biased to the first level of every game, really. I keep thinking green in castles and stuff. Again, the color mixing of that series is just the best. If they were to reuse anything. Unfortunately, I'm drawing a blank with that. I just want more purple, yellowish skies. Just more beautiful skyboxes that even the titles from 25 years ago were able to achieve. I actually have a bunch of pictures saved of just the skyboxes with nothing else.
Nice. Yeah, I do miss those skyboxes of the originals. They were quite pretty.
I guess that's my answer. Just please keep the color theory just spectacular. And then again, just the indestructible environments completely as a reward for all your soul searching.
Cool. Actually, since you said reward, what would be a good 100% reward?
I have never experienced a good 100% reward, but that's just in my experience.
You don't think Spyro 2's 100% reward is good?
Is that the one where you get the room with all the treasure, or is that the other one?
It's the permanent super flame.
Oh, right. No, that's true, actually. Like, I'm trying to think of a good 100% that wouldn't be achieved with someone just modding it in, but, like, something that you can't get with DLC. Something that you can only get with that. Like, maybe an exclusive playable character. Which, yeah, sure, on the PC you could just mod in, but, like, on console it's like, oh, yay, I get an entirely different moveset. So yeah, just another specific character, even if most players will not get to that stage.
Okay.
But anything's better than Jak and Daxter 1.
Yeah.
I even prefer Mario Sunshine's 100% as opposed to that.
Yeah. Some of them aren't so good.
They were because they were last minute tacked on.
Well, to me, anything's better than just a cutscene.
Oh yeah, that in particular is bad, because you can just look that up even if you're on console.
Yes. Cutscene rewards do not work nowadays.
No. But, like, again, praising Mario Odyssey is like, you can now play as Luigi. So, or you get Yoshi on the roof or whatever. So just something like that.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, I am going to end it there. Thank you so much for being on this episode.
I've been listening for over a year now. It's really great. It's otherworldly to be here, and just to be on a podcast at all. Like, it's like, oh, okay, that's what this is like.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad that you listened to them. I've been trying to pump them out a lot more now. In fact, there was an entire year that I went without doing them at all, so I make sure I get them done a lot faster now.
Well, I listen to them every time.
Thank you so much. And thank you, all of you out there, for listening. As always, if you are new, don't forget to subscribe for more casual gaming content, and I will see you next time. Until then, this is Miharu, signing off.